asshole if I don't pick up the poop.
All right, bro. So now we're finally up. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
All right, guys. So we're live with my buddy Kevin. We've been recording, but now we're actually live. So what was the conversation that we were talking about before? Okay, we were talking about Iraq, right?
Yeah, when we left off, we were talking about Iraq. Where were we?
Fuck, I don't know. So listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck it. We'll just go with the flow. So like, this is my take. Like I was talking to you about Damian Granoff.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that he saw a documentary about basically how Lee Harvey Oswald basically couldn't have done it because of the rifle and blah and whatever. He said other things too. I mean, you listen to the podcast.
Right.
And my whole take was, well, I've seen a podcast where they said that Lee Harvey Oswald could have done it, and many people don't know that Lee Harvey Oswald lived in Russia. He had a Russian wife, and they were actually going to kick him out of Russia, and he slit his wrist. So there's a long history of, I don't know if he was he a communist or was he a Marxist? Which one was he? Do you know?
I think he was a communist. I knew he lived in Russia. I didn't know he slit his wrist. But yeah, the whole magic bullet theory, I think people have a big appetite for that stuff. I don't know. The thing is, it's just like any of the are there aliens, Area 51 or MK Ultra, any of that stuff. Like if it's legit, we never know about it. I think it's naive to think that I'm gonna crack, some mystery of stranger things have happened, but I'm gonna crack the mystery of Lee Harvey Oswald. The reason I say that is you hear a lot of people talking about the election. Is the election stolen? I don't know. I can't. Nobody does. You'll never things that big. We would just never know. There. It goes back to get something less controversial and more. Do you know Michael Hastings?
I've heard of that name. Yeah. Okay.
So.
You're talking about the McChrystal guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could definitely get into that because we've talked about this before. All right, so you tell me.
Here's a guy. He was, I believe, a Rolling Stones journalist.
Yeah.
He did an in-bed piece on Stanley McChrystal.
That's right.
So at the time, Stanley McChrystal was the head of JSOC, right?
That's right.
So within JSOC, you have ISA, who have they're essentially the premier, the U.S. military's version of the CIA. Computer hackers, all that. They got all this. So this guy writes a piece on Stanley McChrystal and essentially gets him fired. And I believe you told me Stanley McChrystal was well liked in the JSOC community, right?
Yes.
Well respected.
Yes.
So this guy, Michael Hastings, everything going for him. Sometime after that article happens and Stanley McChrystal's fired, is seen driving down Hollywood Boulevard in his Mercedes, doing over 100 miles an hour straight into a tree. So they claim that witnesses had him on the driver's window trying to, say, help me. They've demonstrated, like ISA vets, hacking into a car's computer and controlling the gas and the steering.
Yeah.
So did they off this guy? The thing is, now you're talking some real secret squirrel stuff.
Super secret squirrel.
So ISA, whether they did or they didn't, it's, in my opinion, it's not worth my brain power because we'll never know.
Yeah. No, listen, we've discussed this before, but I think the reason why I like going back to Lee Harvey Oswald is because people find it unbelievable that somebody so insignificant in history could change the course of history by killing a president, and we were talking about the fact that he fucking ordered a rifle from a magazine because you could do that back then.
Yeah.
And it happened to be a poor quality Italian rifle, but like I said, I've seen documentaries where they say that shot could have been made. It could have been made, right? he was training. He was in the Marine Corps, man.
Yeah,
he was
that's what I'm
fucking in the Marine Corps. He was training in the Marine Corps. Like, you know, he went to basic training. Like, he was taught how to shoot a fucking rifle. Like, what the fuck, you know? And then, like I said, he made another point where he said, well, there was a guy that was seen on the footage doing this. Like, basically, he was moved out of his position. And he basically found a conspiracy in that, basically saying that they moved this guy so he wouldn't be able to find the spotter or the guy or a potential shooter. But my point is, man, if you have any kind of military training, you don't have to be a sniper. You know, like, so listen, if I want to shoot somebody, I'm going to make a hide sight out of a window. I'm not going to be hanging out of a fucking window because that's fucking too obvious. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my weapon. I'm going to open up the window. I'm going to set my weapon away from the window,
Right.
and I'm going to shoot from far away.
Yeah.
Now, he could have shot straight out of the window. Obviously, nobody knew back then that if you fucking drove in a fucking convertible, you'd get your fucking head blown off either, right?
Right.
Now they don't do that. Now presidents are fully, like, I mean, you've seen the fucking
beast.
Yeah, it's a beast. So my point is, people find a conspiracy theory on Jack Ruby being able to assassinate Lee Harvey Oswald. My point on that is, and I've said it on the other podcast, Jack Ruby owned a nightclub, like a topless titty club, like it was basically a titty club, something like that. So point being is, he knew a lot of the cops. So they find it to be so amazing that they let him into the police station. It's like everybody knew Jack Ruby. And as a matter of fact, I think he had ties to the mafia.
I think it is super thought provocative. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I think that people, they get worked up over some people enjoy it. But some people get stressed out, really stressed out over some conspiracies. So my thing that I resort back to on that is that the U.S. government's a big, powerful animal. Like, we're only going to know what the breadcrumbs. We're only going to get the breadcrumbs that they feed us. You know. We're only going to know what they let us know.
Okay, but listen. But we do know that Lee Harvey Oswald killed 2 police officers. We know that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Right?
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know, yeah.
Yeah, he killed 2.
Oh, yeah.
They were going after him. Yeah,
gotcha.
He killed 2.
Gotcha.
So, like I said, it's like, that's the problem that I have with some of these people, man. It's like I said, they go into the rabbit hole and it just goes on and on and on and on. But like I said, he told me that there's a documentary disproving the assassination, and I've seen a documentary that says no, he could have made a shot, and many people could have made the shot. So listen, the same thing could be said when we've talked, and this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast, Kevin, because we've had these discussions before, like the same thing with fucking 9/11. But I told you, and you've turned me on to many books where we knew there was some fucking bad shit going on with 9/11, and we just overlooked it.
Yeah.
The CIA and the FBI basically did not share information.
Right.
Right?
Right. They had, I think, they had Bin Laden in custody in Khartoum and asked the Clinton administration if they wanted him, and they didn't take custody because of habeas corpus issues, and I think that ended up kind of biting him in the ass. Of course, at that time, I think wasn't he linked? Bin Laden linked to the original, the '93 World Trade Center bombing.
Dude, I'm not really sure, Kevin. I know that the reason why, and this is, man, I wish you would have caught me fucking 3 years ago when I was like balls deep into all this stuff. I know that Bin Laden, the reason why he turned on against America was during Desert Storm. Basically, he saw women, because, obviously it was a, coalition of the willing at the time. He saw American women without their tops on, working on vehicles, and basically saying that to him, it dishonored Arabic men, because basically he went to the kingdom and he said, I will protect you.
Yeah.
I will protect the kingdom from Saddam. And basically the kingdom laughed at him and said, no, we're going to have the Americans take over.
Yeah.
And then, come here. What are you doing? Give me that thing.
Probably
Come here.
get that.
It's okay, guys. It's Ollie. Fucking eats everything.
Yeah.
So that's my thing, Kevin. So I think that's why. So basically, Bin Laden felt fucking humiliated by the American people because he saw women that were basically saying he felt that the American women that were stationed in, I guess, Kuwait or
Yeah.
in that area were basically, dishonoring Arabic men from taking arms and defending the kingdom. That's why he had this, hatred for America.
Yeah.
So, but look, we know for a fact that there were men of Arabic descent that were flying planes in Oklahoma that were only wanting to fly. They didn't want to learn how to land the planes, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, this is information that we had for a long time. I mean, the first 9/11, the intention was to blow up the bottom building so it would hit the other World Trade Center and both of them would topple, right?
Yeah.
And he did say that they were going to come back.
Yeah.
And look, man, like I said, we saw fucking planes being hijacked in the 70s and 80s. Usually they would land, they would maybe kill a few people, and then that would be it. Yeah. We never knew that they would use planes as fucking missiles, man. Right?
Scary. I mean, I feel like there were so many failures there. It's scary. I mean, we still see it today. They beefed up TSA.
Mm-hmm.
There's things you see now, the metal detectors. I can remember taking my grandmother to the airport and walking the whole way with her. Right?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Taking the shoe bomber. You got to take your shoes. Still today. And I do see that. There are people that say that that's intrusive. They call it gate rape.
Uh-huh.
That you're okay. People that don't appreciate walking through the millimeter scanner and people just getting pictures of their junk.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I feel like if that prevents another 9/11, I'm cool. You can look at my junk all you want. But I think that the people that say that claim that the TSA has not prevented one hijacking or they haven't caught a bomb or whatever. I know there's always some jackass like me that forgets and leaves his pistol in his bag. And
that's happened to you?
I've done, yeah. I had a buddy of mine, Mike, took me to the airport one time. I was flying somewhere and I had my sling bag that I use all the time and I had a pistol in it. Take the shoes off, put it on the tray, laptop out, put it on the tray, send it through the last things, the bag, and I go to put it on the belt. And then when I go to push it through, I can feel the imprint of the pistol in the back of the bag, and I just, color drops out of my face. I grab it back. They're looking at me, and I'm thinking, it's like, what's up? I was like, I forgot something in my car. Give me my shit. So they hand me my laptop, go up the curb, call Mike. Like, where are you?
Oh, so you bluffed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
You're not supposed to have it in the
airport.
no,
dude, they'll put you in jail. Yeah. I mean, fuck, that's crazy. This is my whole take on all this stuff, Kevin. This is what I believe it is. We're fucking incompetent, man. People are just fucking incompetent, and people make fucking mistakes all the time. Like I said, listen, Damien was a great guest. Listen, I want to talk to him again. I was just like, this is my thing on it. He's like, he finds it impossible. And I'm going to bring this point when I talk to him again that, how do was it 15 guys that were able to get into planes at 9/11?
So, yeah, somewhere around.
How were they able to get in with box cutters into where the pilots were at?
Right? I don't entirely understand that either. I thought a lot about it. Well, I know they claim to have bombs, like suicide vests, like do what we say or we'll detonate if everybody, we're just trying to divert the plane and land it. Everybody will be okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's never working again. If that is what happened, that's not, now somebody tried that. I think they get the old pen in the neck, where just nobody wants to go out like that,
I just, like I said, listen, as I get older, I just start to believe, listen, maybe there is something to it. Maybe things were relaxed so we could go to war and we could get, we know that Dick Cheney had ties to Halliburton. I
Right.
don't really know too much into it. I know that he's a piece of shit for sure. I know that I know that he was supposed to, go to Korea, and he said he didn't have time for Korea at the
Yeah.
time, so
Goes back to that drowning orphans, man. It's like all
Yeah.
people in power, or they say, war is old men talking and young men dying.
yeah, man. So like I said, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out things just like you. I don't. I guess, man, I'm just not really big into conspiracy things. I just see things for what they are, man.
I'm too linear minded.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. He's all right.
It's like trying to get on the podcast. I can't. I think that the most realistic direction to some form of logic is typically a straight line. I don't know. I mean,
Okay,
all
Alec, get your
kinds
ass,
of-
get your big ass over here. Jesus Christ.
there's all kinds of interesting, things. It's like you said earlier. One person can't change the world. It's
Yeah.
like I saw somebody said, it's like anybody who thinks one person can't change the world is clearly never eaten an undercooked bat.
Mhm.
There's a lot of conspiracy obviously going around with COVID.
Mhm.
I always draw that comparison to 9/11 because after 9/11 we saw a much more robust TSA security. They gained powers that they have not given back.
Mhm.
I'm wondering what we'll see on the other side of COVID. I think you'll see a lot more. I'm assuming robust health departments. More strictly enforced health codes. We'll see a lot in food and beverage, probably the gym industry, all over.
What do you think? Okay, so all right, so let's get into that because I wasn't really going to talk about it because I've talked about it so much.
Right.
What do you think about Corona?
I think that it's when you get
Jesus
into-
Christ. Ollie,
the
come
more
on,
we-
dude.
More we ignore 'em.
Fucking
Oliver,
space, bro.
come here,
Space.
buddy.
God
Oliver,
damn.
come here.
Fuck.
He's-
Damn, son.
Not like it not being
Calm
here.
down.
I think when you get into
Mhm.
the public health is a really interesting dynamic, and evidently,
Mhm.
I think it ended up somewhere close to where it needed to be.
Mhm.
I think that I'm not pro-vaccine. I'm not. Hold on.
Mhm.
Enough. Come here. I'm not pro-vaccine. I'm not anti-vaccine.
Have you
It's a
been
vaccine.
Have you been vaccinated?
I
or
got
what?
the vaccine.
Did you?
At the time, I was in I was in New York. I was on a project there, and it was early in the pandemic. I mean, we didn't know what it was, And I remember in the very beginning of things, we didn't know what. It's like you just hear there's some fucking people up, and I don't know if it's Ebola. Are we gonna bleed out our eyes? What is it? And then remember, because we got weird information, we were fed weird information. Some people would get on the ventilators, all this stuff. Some people are losing taste and smell. Other people would get blood clots. You get really weird symptoms, and it's still kind of like that. Not everything's the same. So, long story short, I had to go to New York. It was like the first project, and that was the hotbed, at the time. So I was out there for like 8 months, and New York made it. They released the vaccine in waves, and food and beverage was in the second wave. I think the first was first responders, police, teachers, healthcare industry, and
Yeah, because
elderly.
you got to take that everywhere now when you're in New York, right? You have to take like some sort of a pass. I know my mother was over there.
They have an app. The city of New York has an app that you can download to your phone and put all your vaccination stuff in. I never did it. But at the time, I was running a fairly busy site, and we had an outbreak on the site. Somebody came in, had COVID. One of the electricians had COVID, and it didn't devastate. As a matter of fact, there were 2 people on the site that really only 2 people even gave a shit. One of them had Lyme's disease, was worried, and the other one's wife had cancer, was on chemo.
Okay.
So really the only thing that it affected was exactly those people you didn't want it to.
Yeah.
Nobody caught COVID except for the guy with Lyme's disease. The guy that wife was on chemo didn't get it, but brought it home to his wife, and she got it. And she was super. They feel very confident that was the path because she was super isolated. He was,
Yeah.
bringing her groceries, everything. So anyway, right after that, I got the vaccine.
Mm.
I had a weird, I had this weird joint issue at the
Mm.
time. I'm a fairly active person.
But
big
you're a healthy
runner.
guy, though, man.
So my joints got kind of fucked up to where I'd had a hamstring tear going into COVID,
Mm.
and it's kind of up, high, like on your sit bone. And that was already kind of causing me some issues. And then I have like a shoulder impingement, just old people shit.
Mhm.
So
How old are you?
45.
Oh man, come on, man, you're still young.
But I just one day, things start to get stiff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my lower back, hips, knees, my knees, my shoulders,
Mm.
and then to some degree my elbows started to get stiff.
Mm-hmm.
They got so bad, Frank, to the point where I couldn't get shoes. I couldn't put my shoes on. I had to
Yeah.
get creative because my knee wouldn't cycle past, whatever. I couldn't get past 90
Mhm.
degrees. So I ended up finding a rheumatologist up there. They did some, fairly elaborate tests. They took blood, they biopsied like a rash that I had to make sure it wasn't psoriatic arthritis. And then they did a bunch of imaging. So he said at the end of it that I had osteoarthritis, fairly advanced osteoarthritis.
Really? Fairly advanced? That's not good.
No. And well, here's the thing: is because I had the hamstring tear. Prior to that, I had had a pelvic MRI. So I call my orthopedist in Atlanta and ask for a referral for a rheumatologist to continue care. They gave me a diclofenac, prescription, and said, works. You take it, and none of that was an issue. So I end up call them asking for a referral for a rheumatologist, and so I get on the phone with the doctor, and he's looking at the MRI, and this was right before COVID. So just at that point, say a year prior, he's like, looking at your MRI, which is much better imaging than the X-rays that they took in New York, said you have zero arthritis.
Really?
So he's like, I don't want to stir up anything, but he goes, I would recommend a second opinion.
What the
So
fuck?
the best I can figure is an inflammatory response to the vaccine. So I actually had scheduled a booster, and I can't lie, it just got in my head. I'm like, I can't go through that again. Because it was months. I mean, this isn't like a week of that. I mean, it was like 3 months. I went running one day up there. I went to go over a curb, and my knee wouldn't cycle enough to get my foot. I mean, I saw the curb. I couldn't get over the curb. And just, trip.
I know my son felt really sick when I guess he got his second shot because he had to go to Italy, but he's totally against it too, so I didn't really want to talk about it because I've been so frustrated over this thing, man, because I mean, I still see fucking people wearing masks, man.
I mean, I'm definitely not anti-vaccine. I think my feeling on it is when you get into public health, we have to look at extremes. So I get that the COVID conversation is a little convoluted. Let's just say it was Ebola. Ebola will rip through, a community. It will fuck people up. So at some point, leadership has to say everybody's doing this. It gets into. It's a fascinating topic. You look in the movies. Was it Outbreak? I think was the one. One of them was basically the technical advisor on the movie. I'm pretty sure it was Outbreak. Was like the CDC or somebody from the WHO. And when you go back and look at the movie now, it looks a lot like the situation, at least the situation that we were in for a while. Uh, they're trying to make policy that everybody has to do. Like I said early on in that nothing is perfect in America. What makes us what we are is we're our freedoms.
Yes.
We're a freedom-loving country.
Yes.
And that's not going to bode well. There are other societies that will surrender their freedoms. We just don't. The biggest litmus for that is 2A. So our guns. We don't. I'm the cover child for that. Like I believe in it to my core. I think that's what makes us great. And nobody can be perfect. I think we're never. I'm never gonna give up my guns.
Well, I mean, look, but you see this. There was a scene in, I think it was either in Canada or Australia, where this. No, I think it had to be Canada. He was getting on a ski lift and he refused to wear a mask, and he was fucking getting arrested because he was refused to wear a mask. It's like blind compliance. We always talk about blind compliance. It's like this is the kind of shit that happened in like World War II, where people were following something that was completely wrong, man.
I think that it's the faith, and maybe this is also it goes into culture or capitalism, socialism. You go into other countries like Canada is a great example, to where they just have blind faith that they surrender more of their freedoms, that their government will take care of them, that there's some greater good that is probably better equipped. Sure, I agree with that. Probably better equipped in some cases to take care of us. Problem is, not every situation, and they don't do it the way we would. They don't know. Sure, trying to think of a good example with medicine. Socialized medicine is great in theory, and I'm all for it if it would work. And I get that it works in France, works in Canada, doesn't work that well in the UK, doesn't work that well in other countries. I think we're also a bigger, more complicated animal than they are, and we have less of a chance of that working here. I think they would screw it up.
Yeah, but why are the Brits or Canadians coming over here if their hospitals are so great, if their healthcare is so great? Look, it's the same thing that we could say with COVID. And I said it on the last podcast. I know plenty of guys that were plumbers, electricians, that they had these special units set up. Well, they were empty.
Yeah.
I never saw not one television show, one news outlet where they had an actual hospital where I could see people being overburdened because there were so many people there. I never saw that once. So is it reality, or is it a conspiracy, or is it the government trying to control us, Kevin? Which one is it?
I don't know. I mean, it's thought provocative. I'm not saying one way or the other, but I do know I have a buddy of mine work with. His wife's an ER nurse. He was saying, we don't know what's going on. She's an ER nurse and she can't get work anywhere. I have a cousin also that's an ER nurse in San Diego. She was saying in the meat of COVID, she was like, there's no work out here. I do not think it was a conspiracy. I also think it was misunderstood. Originally, when they were talking about COVID and shutting the shutdowns, it was just not to try and prevent the spread or stop the spread, or it was about letting the hospitals just give them a second, let them get caught up. We're going to open everything back up, because again, we're about choice. Even at that point, if it ended up being, for most people, milder than they thought it was. And I get it. I know it's not a conspiracy, because I've worked with people that died. I have friends of my family that have died. I think for the most part, everybody that I know, still I'm so fascinated with, but everybody that I know had pre-existing conditions.
Well, there you go. So like I said, I don't think that it's completely false. I think that if you have, like I said, if you're diabetic, if you're overweight, right? If you have cancer, right? Listen, Elon Musk talked about this thing. The guy's a fucking genius. He said, they fucking find an arm. The arm has fucking COVID, man. It's like, because from what I understand, maybe it's misinformation, but hospitals were getting money back on people that had COVID. Is that
Yeah.
true or not?
I do
You know,
again.
yeah.
I'm always so hesitant to say, but yeah, I had so a friend of mine, somebody I went to high school with. She's a hospital safety liaison. That's what she does for a living,
Mhm.
and she claimed right out of the gate, she's like, that is 100% going on.
Mhm.
It wouldn't surprise me. To me, it's not that far fetched. I mean, if it's about funding, it's what my company does. We all have to find funding for things. I mean, yeah, I'm sure if they're getting, special funding for whatever, think about it. If you and I run a hospital and we get whatever it is, I don't even. I'm pretty sure hospitals or most hospitals
Mm.
I thought they were privately funded, but if you get a grant, if you have access to a grant, special grant because of COVID, and that is correlated by how many cases you have, yeah, you're gonna you're gonna want to make it look like you have as many cases as possible.
I just think for me, Kevin, is just I believe that people were affected by it, but like I said on the other podcast, I was near a woman she was at least 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Had a mask on, told me I was standing too close to her. Okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
but like you're overweight.
Right. Right.
I think you should be worried about your weight.
Right.
But they overlooked that.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, I thought that it was 45%, but it's actually 70% of women in America are considered overweight. 70%, Kevin.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, probably, yeah, Americans in general by that point. I mean, you think that in that overweight is considered a comorbidity.
There you go. There you go. Well, but how come so many people in Italy died from COVID? Because I think they have the largest population of senior citizens in the world. Right. So I'm not saying that people were not affected. I'm just talking about the healthy people. But not just that, Kevin. What about all the businesses that went out of business because of it?
Yeah.
And then you see politicians, like I said, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again because I hate this fucking human being. Nancy Pelosi goes to a hair salon, has somebody open up a hair salon just so she can get her hair done. I mean, like I said, these bureaucrats, they still get paid, while other people, their lives are destroyed, Kevin.
Right. I totally agree. And they're doing stuff non-essential. You don't need to get your hair done. There's no argument for that. What's the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
She's just a terrible human being.
Look, remember, and like I said, listen, and I don't, we could go into the BLM and that stuff, but it was, remember when we had the small riot when they burnt down I think it was a Burger King or something, where this guy, remember they stopped this guy, he literally, and I had more of the facts. This happened in Atlanta. Guy was in the drive-thru. He was asleep.
Rayshard Brooks. It was Wendy's, yeah.
He was asleep.
Yeah.
They fucking caught him sleeping in his car in the drive-thru. Police pulls up. The guy's as nice as can be, right?
Yeah.
Tell he has to go to jail. Takes the taser from the police officer. I think he points it at the police officer, and then the police officer shoots this guy. Right?
Yeah.
Now he complied till he was going, till he didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, if you ask me, that it's not a racial issue. It's just if I do that, I'm getting the same fucking treatment.
Yes, but see, but now we can't say anything now, Kevin, because we'll get canceled. Like I tell everybody, if you're a man, this is a podcast for men.
Right.
If you're a fucking fat dude, I'll be like, bro, you're a fat fucking piece of shit.
Right.
But now I see women on Instagram that are morbidly obese, that it's not like you're fat, it's like, you go, girl.
I think it's gone too far. I heard Joe Rogan say that. They're celebrating someone's addiction to food.
Yes.
It's unhealthy. I think, people can be, humane about it. I don't think you need to just bully people because they're overweight. But same token, it's not healthy behavior. It doesn't need to be celebrated. It doesn't. No matter who. To me, it's irrelevant. Somebody said that one time. There's, if there's aliens, they're down there looking at people who don't. There's conflict over
Mm.
somebody's race, ethnicity, gender, whatever. You lay your motorcycle down, that person can still donate a kidney to you.
Mhm.
If you're really not different. This is a psychological thing. I think it's like team colors.
Mm.
People love to stick up for or circle the wagons around whatever they can relate to.
But it's the media, Kevin. It's the
Absolutely.
media, and they're evil because
Absolutely.
they're portraying our country to be like we're just a bunch of racists, like we're just fighting each other.
Right.
I go out all the time. I go out all the time.
Right.
I see Black, Asian. We all get along. This is who we are as Americans, right? But we look at social media sometimes and you think, oh, like there's just a bunch of fucking, like there's basically a race war. It's like, no, there's no race war. We live in America, right? And like I said, for all you people that don't understand, the greatness of our country is, slavery it's not an American institution. We got rid of slavery, just like France and just like Great Britain, and we're a country, 200 something years? For thousands and thousands of years, people have been enslaving people, right? I mean, the word slave comes from the word Slavic, as in Slavic people that were enslaved. That's where the term slave comes from, right? So as long as we've been around, we have enslaved each other, right? But this is the problem that we have today. It's like we do not understand fucking history. Like even when we talk about Nazis, it's like we have people, everybody's a Nazi now. But have you really, really looked at what Nazis did? Right?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
It's atrocious. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other thing. I hate when people compare something, like when if you back into my car,
Mhm.
And I say, it's like the Holocaust. You're degrading the suffering that people went down to compare, certain things to, I guess, historical atrocities. I don't think you're doing anything justice by that. I don't.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Everybody's a Nazi, man. It's
Right.
like you're
Right.
exactly right, Kevin. It takes away from what really, really happened.
Right.
What those people did, right?
I think it's just terrible. People do that. They're just.
So listen. So whatever. Listen, we could argue about that for days. This is something, like I said, I want to do this podcast because I know, especially today, man, I just see men. I just think that men are not men anymore, man. It's like I run into you, a guy like you, but I really believe that there's not a lot of guys that are just men that like being men. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I think that we need to bring that back because I think that what the problem that we're having too with society is like I think society is basically telling women that they can do it all themselves, and it's like we're a very important part of society. Jordan Peterson talks about, and like I said, this is nothing to berate women, but like the facts are the facts. The infrastructure is run by men. Okay. That is a fact, right? But now more and more in commercials, it's the man who's a fucking bumbling idiot, right? We created the internet, right? The sexual revolution happened. Why? Because of the birth control pill. Jordan Peterson speaks about this. What did the birth control pill do? It allowed for women to have sex with many men without getting pregnant, right? But I think what we lack to understand, or what we don't want to understand, is that I think at the end of the day, Kevin, equality isn't really equal because there's a lot of things that women can get away with that we can't get away with. That's my whole point to this whole narrative.
Yeah,
right?
Different, and probably so. when you get into things like I guess chauvinism versus racism, like genders are different. I think they probably should be.
Yes.
They're just things that women can do that we can't, and there's things that we can do that women can't. I tend to think that like ethnicity or race is just something that kind of needs to be erased. And I guess to some degree, it goes back to hey, I dropped my motorcycle. Well, a woman could donate her kidney. I get it. There's some strange, some things that you and I don't metabolize, very well about, like feminism. I think that it should be an equally equitable world for women and men. I don't, again, for me, it goes back to the fact that I'm not sure that it's not. I'm not seeing it. I work for a woman. In my world, what I'm exposed to, I just don't. I don't know. I don't with that. I don't.
Listen,
I'm not exposed to it.
My ex-wife, she's my business partner. I get most of my business advice. I usually confer with her.
Yeah.
So I respect women. The problem that we're having is, like I said, we're talking about equality. Why are there so many black men in the NBA? There's no equality in the NBA. There's no equality in the NFL, right? Because we're businessmen. It's all based on performance, Kevin, right? And Jordan Peterson talks about this. If you want to be like Jeff Bezos or you want to be a fucking multi-billionaire, those guys are fucking animals. They're working 70, 80 hours a week. They don't sleep sometimes. Like these guys are fucking animals. So
a different level, yeah.
They're a different level. You know what I'm saying? So it's all based on competition. A long time ago, in the Redskins, the owner basically did not want to hire any black fucking running backs. So what happened? What was the cause? Well, they started fucking losing games. So it didn't matter how racist the owner was. Eventually, he was like, listen, we need to fucking win some games. We need to get some black running backs. Right? You see what I'm saying? So there's no racism in business, because at the end of the day, it's about producing. Am I right or wrong?
I agree. I believe capitalism doesn't really allow for it, because if you were to run a racist business structure and I wasn't, and I'm your competition, I'm fishing from a broader pool of talent.
Yes.
You're limiting yourself unnecessarily. But I think it's always, everything should always, equality is truly being able to pick the best person for the job.
Exactly.
Regardless of, I don't know. I don't know. I think that there's, I'm not saying we're like racism or chauvinism doesn't exist. I think it's a little overstretched.
I mean, listen, you're getting all these especially now with transgender. Now you're getting these guys that are going into female sports, and they're breaking all sorts of records. Eventually, there's going to be a guy that's going to go into the WNBA, and he's going to be putting his fucking balls on all these women's faces because he's going to be fucking dunking on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was the same thing with the WNBA. It's like the WNBA's never made a profit. Right. Yet these women complain about the fact that they don't make the same amount of money that like LeBron James makes. Well, it's because it doesn't fucking make any money. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, I'm not even a basketball guy. The NBA funds the WNBA, and the WNBA has never made a profit. Why is that? Is it misogyny, or is it the fact that at the end of the day, we want to see the best of the best?
Right.
The best of the best is in male sports. Serena Williams got beat by the guy that was like 330th in the world.
Right.
Why is it that we have men's tennis and women's tennis? There's a difference because men were stronger. We can hit the ball harder. We're more physical. But they want to deny that, Kevin.
Well, I don't. For me, I don't even know what that. I think that so a real interesting one that you would know more about is the, the women's soccer team. Like we have a phenomenal soccer team,
Yes.
women's soccer team, and
Yes.
our men's teams, not
It's
so
okay.
good. So there's and this is again, I know very little about this, but there is a conversation out there that they want equal pay. And my understanding is they make less than the men's team. They're paid less. So my question is, and I don't know the answer to this, but I would agree that your pay should be proportionate to how much of a crowd you draw.
Yes.
Like the tickets you sell.
Kevin, but people are not watching women's soccer. They're not. That's why I think even the soccer league, I think it doesn't exist anymore because who's watching fucking women's soccer?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Kevin,
I don't know.
okay, the women's national team, they played 14-year-old young men.
Mhm.
They got beat
Oh, jeez.
by 14-year-old men, young men. Now they're not even men; they're like kids. They got beat by a bunch of kids.
Is that true? Like
That's it did happen. That happened.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So why is that? Because we're just built for it. We are just built. We're just different.
Yeah.
They had even war fighters. The Marine Corps itself had infantry units, all men, and then they had infantry units, a mixture of men and women. They couldn't handle it. Women could not handle it. They could not handle the load. They had more injuries. They're not built for that type of work. They're just not built for it. They're not built to fucking carry 60 pounds, 70 pounds on your back. They're just not built for it. Right?
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's for anybody that wants to romanticize the infantry or being an infantryman. I lived it for 12 years. You're going to be cold. You're going to be wet. You're going to be tired. All of it. That's what the life of a grunt is. Discomfort. What woman wants to do that, Kevin?
I don't know. Yeah.
If not very few.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I was in the Army, this is before they let women into the infantry. We had these sexual harassment classes, man. It would fucking go on forever. The point was, we never had any women, so we never had a fucking problem with that.
Right.
Now we noticed, like in support units, like truck drivers, mechanics, it was integrated.
Right.
We noticed that they had no military bearing. Because why? Because they were fucking each other. They were men and women. You get men and women together, they're going to have sex.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. It's biological. When I was in the infantry, we weren't around women at all. So it was never an issue, So for us, it was different, or for us, it was strange seeing these units that were male, female, and we were like, yeah, we just don't get it because for us, it's just our world was a subculture. We just dealt with men.
Yeah.
And whenever we got women involved, listen, man, and I'm being honest here, you could be a fucking 4, but overseas, you were like an 8.5.
Yeah.
And these women were getting all sorts of attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the reality. And and what I also noticed was if we ever had like a woman, like let's say a medic, if a woman was attached to us and she was a woman or whatever, we tended to kind of like helicopter her. Like we were like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, and it becomes an issue when you're talking about a mission, right? So I didn't think it was beneficial, and I think it's not beneficial to have women in the infantry. But like I said, the world is run by these politicians that they want everything to be equal. Everything has to be fair, and we have to have so many of this and so many of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely. I mean, that conversation becomes about the typically the PT standard. whatever. It's always going to boil down to muscle mass, bone density.
Yes.
So the PT standard, as long as there's no compromise in the PT standard, which you're seeing more and more now, like the Ranger School. I think now the CO program they're talking about. I think Q course. You're seeing more. That's where it gets interesting. Or are they compromising the PT standard? I don't think they should do that. Me personally, I'm not a soldier, so I don't, maybe my opinion doesn't matter as much. But as long as they're not compromising the standard, all the standards, but specifically the PT, something make it, more power to them. I think the debate becomes like my dad would say, is you'll never know that if they are compromising that standard, or if some brass is pressuring that cadre you need to get somebody through.
And I think that's happening, Kevin. I mean, listen, the Army, I've been out for about 4 years. I have buddies in there that they hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking changed so much. I mean, I can't even imagine, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I think that the world right now is just upside down, man. I think that, listen, let's fucking pivot into something, because like I said, dude, I consider you to be a fucking high value guy. If I say high value, what do you get from that? What do you take from a high value man?
I don't know. Maybe somebody with a valuable opinion,
or not just that. You built yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you worked hard for what you have, right?
Yeah. I've definitely put in a lot of hours. Definitely, nothing fell in my lap. That's for sure. I think we were talking earlier. I basically spent the last year on the road. Terrible. Don't recommend it. Love my job, love the company, but it's
but listen, but you do well for yourself, right? You have a good career. It's not like you're fucking living in a fucking box.
It's been a very. I mean, it's been a lot of a good thing. I mean, this job has been amazing. I mean, like I said, just a little shy of 20 years. I mean, it brought me all over the world. I've worked in Russia, I've worked in China, I've worked in, all over the place. It's been neat, but that can be demanding. My function in the company usually requires me. It's results based, so there's nobody really telling me what to do or how to do it. It's if I deliver a product that's fucked up, that's going to be an issue. So, in order to get the job done right, I'm can be kind of a control junkie. So when I get on there, I usually go to whatever project and stay till it's done. So, over that 20 years, maybe one every 18 months, I would go somewhere for 5 months. And then that's just nonstop. Past year has been at least a year, a little over a year on the road nonstop.
Well, all right, but listen to me. So listen. So you have a profession. You make good money. You're whatever. You've got your shit together, right? If you were to say, and like I said, this is a man's podcast. If you were to find a woman, would you want a woman to be submissive, or would you want a woman to like fucking fight you all the time? What kind of woman are you looking for?
I don't know about fight me all the time, but I don't do well with submissive either. I need to be engaged.
But listen to me. But submissive means like who leads, Kevin? A man or a woman? What do you think?
I think it depends on the relationship.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now. Like I said, I say what I say. It doesn't matter. I'm more traditional. A man leads, a woman follows. That's what I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, more of a traditional structure. I think I don't live in that world.
Yeah.
They, well, again, I mean, like I was saying before, I work for a woman, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Mhm.
There are definitely reasons why there are traditional gender roles.
Mhm.
If you go back, you know, beyond like our social
Mhm.
structure that we're at now, and we back to like hunter gatherers or
Mhm.
protectors. There was a reason why
Mhm.
things were done that way.
Okay, so and listen, the reason why I say that is because women, they say he's got to be over 6 foot tall. He's got to make six figures,
Right.
right? You're 6 foot. You make good money, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that what I'm trying to point out is women have all these standards, and for men, we have standards too. That's my point. It's like there are certain things that we expect from a woman. Like, listen, I'm 48 years old. I if I'm with a woman, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna lead, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's gonna provide.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't expect for a woman to provide for you, right?
No.
If you have a relationship with a woman, who pays? You or the woman?
Me.
Right?
Yeah.
You open the door for her, right?
Yeah.
Right? If you're fucking sleeping one night and you guys are in the bed sleeping and somebody breaks into your house, who's gonna go downstairs? You or the woman?
Me.
All right, so that's my point, Kevin. It's
Right.
like there are certain roles that we play. Am I saying that we are superior to women? No, I just stated again.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Listen,
Like lead, yeah.
My ex-wife is a friend of mine now.
Yeah.
I get a lot of my advice from my ex-wife. She's a fucking animal when it comes to business.
Yeah.
But now that I'm 48 years old, the woman that I'm looking for, I want her to be submissive, because I feel like I'm fucking fighting the world.
Right.
When I get home, I don't want her fucking arguing, with me. Listen, we got into a situation the other day. This has happened to you before. I'm driving. I'm getting ready to go into her complex. And this fucking guy pulls up right next to us. And he just starts yelling at us. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm trying to figure out I'm thinking this fucking guy's on drugs. Apparently, he's thinking I'm taking pictures of him. So I'm like, because it's a gated community.
Yeah.
So he thinks because he's getting in front of me that I'm taking pictures, because he's basically trying to sneak in. Kevin, I don't even know what the fuck he's thinking. Right? So my girlfriend starts fucking running her mouth. I'm like, calm down, calm down, calm down. But she pulls down the window down, and she tells me, don't be intimidated by him. This is what she's telling me.
Right. Yeah.
I said, so I'm like, bro, no, like basically I had the card, I was tagging it. So the fucking, you have to get the card, put it next to this sensor, and then the thing opens.
Right.
He thought I was taking a picture of him.
And
I don't care what the fuck he's doing. I'm like, dude, just go in. So I'm thinking this guy's got to be on drugs or something. So I'm like, dude, just go forward. So he goes in. I go behind him. He stops. I'm trying to go around him, and I'm like, should I go around him? I end up going around him. He starts to follow me. I keep going around. Eventually, I fucking park my car, and we go upstairs.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
Because you never know if there's fucking two other dudes in that fucking truck.
Right.
But see, who's taking charge? She's thinking she's fucking taking charge of a situation that she's not prepared to. Dude, there could have been fucking two other dudes that come up, get out of the fucking truck. They got guns.
Yeah.
They fucking shoot her, and then they shoot me. Right? I'm trying to analyze the situation as it's happening. Right? As a man, because of course I'm supposed to protect her, but she's trying to take charge. Right? And that shit happens all the time. You go to the club with your girl or whatever, some guy fucking grabs her ass. She's like, hey, come fucking take care of this. He's like with like 6 or 7 dudes.
Right.
So you're trying to be a man and trying to protect her, but who's going to get his fucking ass kicked? By 7 guys. It's not going to be her. It's going to be you.
Yeah.
So that's the point. It's like, as men, we're the ones that have to fucking take charge and be like, listen, calm the fuck down. Let me fucking figure out what the fuck I'm going to do here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So this is what I'm saying, man. There's just certain fucking roles that we have as men.
Yeah.
And with today's society, I mean, fuck, you see it in fucking movies all the time. Fucking Angelina Jolie fucking kicking the shit out of fucking 8 dudes. It's like, That's fucking impossible. That
Sure.
doesn't fucking happen.
Curving
Okay.
bullets.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But it's like it's a fucking clown world, Kevin.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what do you think about that? Is that true or not? Am I
No, it's
speaking?
absolute. I mean, you really kind of hit a nerve with that one. I feel like I think I've just seen some really ugly parts of people with no conflict resolution. And the story that you and I talk about often was I used to run a nightclub in mid Cobalt. It was the 2000, the Ray Lewis incident. I was a junior MOD when the Ray Lewis incident happened at Super Bowl Sunday in Atlanta. And that wasn't the first time.
Yeah.
And they were always over what we would say that particular night would have, I mean, there was like 4 or 5 people killed spread out, over time. And it was always that, permanent solution to a temporary problem. And you just kind of look at it at the time from this poor conflict resolution. People just had, I mean, you'd almost kind of see it unfold a couple times. You're like, you guys had a million times to, opportunities to walk away from that.
Yeah.
You're just, the times in my youth when I would get into some bar fight or something, today I couldn't tell you what they were over. You think about stuff like that. It's point being, it's not important.
No.
And those situations, those people are still fucking dead. I used to work with a guy that they went to a nightclub, after hours nightclub, and he got in a scuffle with a girl's wife. And I'm sorry. He got into a scuffle with a woman's husband.
Yeah.
And there was just this innocent little, shoving match or something. The guy waited like 2 hours out in the parking lot. And when he went out, stabbed him in the face 6 times with a broken bottle. Dude lost his eye. Like, it was just terrible. I mean, again, do you remember what that was over? No, they're still dealing with it. I think that, I don't know. I'm with you. When you look at things through that lens, sure. I mean, you're no pussy. You went to war,
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I had
it's worth it. You're gonna go.
Listen, but that's what I'm saying. But I had a conversation with her. I said, don't fucking do that again, because your ass could have fucking gotten out of the car, the truck, shot you in the fucking face, and then shot me. It's like sometimes you need to fucking know to where it's like, listen, just let this fucking guy go. Just let it's just not worth it, Kevin.
Right.
It's not worth it. I see altercations all the time on fucking YouTube. There's a show where it shows people that like real life situations where people get into confrontations and it's over just stupid shit, man. And somebody pulls out a gun and you're dead.
Yeah. Well, and you just can't. I mean, when you've grown up, you can't do that shit anymore. If you have anything, you're gonna punch somebody and they're gonna sue you, and then they're gonna have your shit.
Dude, I just saw one today where the guy was having a confrontation with basically a guy who's wanting to see his daughter, and I guess his ex-wife, his ex-wife. This has happened in Texas. His ex-wife, I guess, was giving him shit, and they were at the boyfriend's house, and the fucking boyfriend, this guy's arguing with his ex-wife about his kids. The guy goes into his house, brings out an AR, starts to tussle with him, shoots on the ground one time, I guess to try to scare him off. The guy grabs for him. The boyfriend gets away with him, picks up the AR, shoots him twice, and kills him.
The boyfriend's the one that went and got the AR?
Yeah. And the guy, and it's like, dude, it's like if you,
stupid.
And that's the problem. It's like, dude, and he thinks he's fucking justified. It's like, dude, you just fucking murdered somebody. For no reason. Right? It's like that's the only time if you have a sidearm and you pull it, you're going to pull it out because your intention is to shoot. It's not to fucking fire a warning shot.
No.
It's just to protect your life. And I think this fucking, this guy's going to go to fucking jail because he just killed a guy.
I mean, it's probably, I don't know all the detail, but I think that's pretty indefensible. Like what? So, the other thing stupid about that is I know people like that are never on the firearm before and they'll get that. They're like, oh yeah, you just wave it or show somebody. Like,
never.
No, you don't do that.
Never, ever.
Second, that guy brought out the AR. If the husband had a pistol, he can cut and dry.
Mhm.
Just 2 in the chest, 1 in the head.
Mhm.
They're just again, I mean, you said it all right there. You don't ever draw that pistol or rifle, whatever, unless you tend to
Yeah, I
use
mean
it.
that's what I'm saying. But that was his big as like, dude, you're like bluffing with a fucking weapon, dude.
Right.
That's a deadly fucking instrument. It's a
Right.
fucking tool that you use to fucking kill people. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what like I've unholstered my gun one time only. I've gotten into heated discussions with my ex-wife or people. It's like I never really even thought about it because the situation was not there. Like, look, there was another one where there was a security guard gets into an argument. This is at a gas station. Gets into an argument with a guy, and the guy basically gets too close to the security guard. The guy pulls out a gun and fucking shoots him twice in the chest. It's like you're fucking wrong. You can't do that.
I've known people like that. Then their mentality is very much like to get an opportunity to use their pistol, or what. You're just not. It's ridiculous. Why? I mean, I think these people are unhinged. Like, why would you want? Where did it start? Again, why would you want to just, like you said, murder somebody?
Well, I think the whole thing is based on like you have to be in fear of your life, but I mean, it has to be like you really have to be in fear of your life. It's like if somebody's, like I said, in these two situations, it was something to where it was like this guy's life was not. He wasn't. The other person didn't even have a weapon. They just came up to you. Maybe they pushed you.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a right to fucking kill somebody,
No.
Kevin.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they feel like they're justified. Well, I felt. Well, okay, you felt, but where were you?
Right.
Were you? Was your life was it about to be taken? No, it was not.
Probably not.
Right? When you were in fear, but that's it.
Yeah.
Perception is reality. That may be your perception, but that's not really reality.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's just I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to, like I said, is the dichotomy of men and women. Me, and I think this is just things that men want to say, but we're afraid to say it, Kevin, because we're afraid of getting canceled, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going on. The people are a little too cancel happy.
Yeah,
and it's getting to the point to where it's almost like an infringement of free speech, which is scary. It's not a good thing.
Okay, well, listen, what we talked about earlier was if I meet a woman, if I have a woman, if I take her out, I'm supposed to pay, right? I'm the one that opens the door.
Mhm.
I'm the one that's supposed to protect her, right?
Mhm.
We constantly talk about equality, but the world is not equal, Kevin. You know what I'm saying? Like women that are attractive get more attention than women that are ugly, right?
Yeah.
A woman that's attractive is going to get into the club. I'm not going to get into the club unless I have status, right? Men look for status. Why? Because we want to be respected, right? And we want to be able to get women because that's what women are looking for. So there are just these things in society that it is what it is. It's like I didn't make the rules; I just play by them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some things are definitely a fact of life. Yeah. I mean, the genders are always going to be different, right? There's no way around that. There's they would like you could look at it food and beverage. I mean, you're like women always make better bartenders.
Yes.
And they're more efficient in the way that they don't have to work as hard for the same amount of pull.
And why is that? Why is that?
I know what you're getting at, but I mean, which is true, but beyond that, why does that social structure work that way? Why do the men come in and tip women big, but you don't get like, wealthy women, and they're out there, but they don't, I guess they just do different things, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's all theoretical. So basically they say that, what is it? It's like women are trying to play a man's game. So if there's a successful woman, she's successful, right?
Mhm.
Well, she needs to meet a man that's ultra successful to meet her standards because they can't be, he has to be higher. So a woman that's very successful is looking for a man that's more successful than her, you know? And they've done the statistics and they're basically saying that a lot of these fucking women are unhappy, you know, because they want to, basically, as they want to be led. And at the end of the day, it's like people call it misogyny. You could be an independent woman, but at the end of the day, Kevin, she's probably working for a man. Like, I mean, those are facts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But why is that? Because we spend our entire lives building status. You know, it's like, is it fair that let's say a woman of 18 years old, a beautiful woman that's 18 years old, she can get into any club she wants. A man will be more than happy to pay for whatever she wants. If I'm 18, nobody gives a fuck about me.
Right.
Because I'm
Sure.
18 years old.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I don't
Right.
have a job. I don't have status. I don't have shit.
But you get a better life experience, a better life lesson.
That's right. But that's what I'm saying. But my thing is, do I complain about it?
No.
Do men complain about it?
It's just a fact of life.
Right. So this is the shit that I'm just trying to.
Stay here.
I'm trying to understand. Hold on. God,
Do you mind
wow,
reading?
go ahead. Hold on. Man, go ahead, man. Here. I mean, that's.
He'll run. Hold on.
I don't know.
Like fireworks or something.
You gotta go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the bathroom, man. Here, I'll just
Grab a beer or
I'll
something.
keep running my mouth. then I gotta go to the bathroom.
Right.
So yeah, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, like this is the stuff that I'm talking about, guys. It's like we think that the world is equal, but I just don't see it. I don't think that the world is equal, you know? I live in this world, and like I said, you guys can refer to Jordan Peterson. Why is it that we have scientists, engineers, they call it STEM, right? So why is it dominated by men? Why is that? Because Jordan Peterson speaks about is it women are about people and men are about things, right? So in Scandinavian countries, they are trying to build egalitarian societies where everything is equal. But for some reason, they're seeing that women want to become teachers, want to become nurses. They want to do things that women have always done. Why? Because women are about people and men are about things. They're about machines. They're about trying to figure things out. Now, am I saying that women could not make good engineers? I'm sure there's plenty of great female engineers, but for the most part, most engineers happen to be men. The most successful people in the world are usually men. The grid, the infrastructure, everything that we run is created by men, right? You need to walk Ollie out or what? No, you're good?
He's good. You want a beer?
Yeah, please.
Uh,
So yeah, man. So like these are the things that I'm like I said, this is right now on a podcast. There's many, many podcasts. And as men, we want the answers to these things, Kevin. We want to know what's going on, right? We want to know why it's almost like we are being shamed for being men. Do you find that or no? Or is it just me? Or
I
not
don't
just
get that. I get more. I mean, you see some weird conversation. I don't in my industry. I'm not. I'm not exposed to it. There's definitely different. Again, like differences in the genders, and they've always been that way. It was always like you said. You know, you get say a bartender. You know, they're just you always want to work next to hot female bartenders.
Yeah,
they're gonna pull out for you in tips. But there's you tend to, again, it is different. You tend to see less frequently women in security roles.
But would you say that women are judged on their looks, Kevin? Would you think that? Like obviously, if you see a beautiful woman and you see an ugly woman, right? You're gonna pay attention to a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Right? Does a beautiful woman have more benefits because she's beautiful?
I don't think so. To like when you get into that, like generalization. I think that specifically because of the gender roles, you get a dude. Ollie, come here. He's gonna get enough.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, you don't
you
drink
would
that
get-
bluey, bro.
you know, dudes that just throw the world at some attractive girl, and they come up that way, and they're denied all the valuable life lessons in the world.
Yeah, but those are simps, man. Like if you're like a fucking pushover, that's the thing. If you're a pushover, a woman's not gonna respect you.
Right.
You know? But if you tell a woman no and you tell her
Right.
she's wrong, it's like that, like, listen, man, the whole Mr. Nice Guy. There is no Mr. Nice Guy. Because you think a woman wants to be with a fucking guy that's agreeable? Or did you think a woman wants to be with a guy that basically calls her out calls her out when she's fucking full of shit? Like, no, you're wrong. I mean, what do you think? I mean, why are women attracted to bad boys?
Bad judgment.
Bad judgment?
I don't know.
Bad judgment, or is it the fact that bad boys will fucking call a chick out no matter how
Right.
beautiful she is,
Probably.
right? And they're turned
Right.
on by that,
Right.
right?
I think that there's a psychological subconscious thing that men and women possess, that when you certain, men or women feel that when they're batting above they're out kicking their coverage a little bit when somebody is, playing aloof or
Mhm.
or tell them no or denying them time, playing that game. I'm old fashioned, dude. I believe that the right person, male or female, won't work. It shouldn't. You're gonna have a relationship that's founded on the wrong things. If you get it.
Yeah, but you like
if you
beautiful-
found a relationship on lust.
But you like beautiful women, right?
Yeah, and who doesn't, right?
Right?
Beautiful women like beautiful women.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So these are the things that we don't like to say to each other, or we don't like to admit because we're afraid of getting canceled, right?
Oh, and that's I mean, you're right. I get what you're saying, and that's a shame. I mean,
look at social media. Look at Instagram.
There's a whole other thing there.
Right.
Man, I could go on.
Listen, I
All
told
day
you, there's a
about social
chick.
media.
There's a chick selling her farts on a fucking jar. She's
Can't
making
be
like
a real
40K
thing.
a month. I swear to God,
Are
she's
you
on
serious?
TV. Yeah, and as a matter of fact,
In the
she
wrong
was
field.
in the hospital because apparently she was, I guess, taking something that would basically give her gas, so she could like, she was like fucking working overtime, right? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. This stuff
She's
is
selling
fucking
real. The best part about it is priceless. She's selling
Yeah.
real fart.
yeah.
When you've seen the Gwyneth Paltrow has the vagina scented candle.
I've heard about that.
She's got a company called Goop. I don't know what that's all about, but it sells out. They can't.
But women sell their feet, man.
Yeah,
Huh?
this shit is definitely not fair.
What does that say? What does it say that about men? It's like, this is what I was talking to my daughter today. It's like, if you meet a woman and she's got kids, right? The world is telling her, you go, girl, go find your man, right? And they're like, well, he's not the stepdad, he's just the guy that stepped up. The fact of the matter is, and this is my opinion, if a man hooks up with a woman and she's got 2 kids, he's a simp. Why would a man take care of somebody else's children, right? Why?
I'm
Why?
so old fashioned romantic.
I know, but
man.
listen to
I'm
me.
like,
But that's what I'm saying. But listen, you're a guy. You're making over if any guy, a successful guy. You're over 6 foot tall. You make over $100,000.
Right.
You can have a choice of any woman you want. Why would that man, a man of high value, right, has a career, good-looking guy, works out, whatever, everything. He's got it all. That guy, he's a high-quality guy. He's not going to be looking. If he goes out with an attractive woman and he finds out that she's got fucking 2 kids, if he values himself, he's going to be like, I don't want to deal with this fucking bullshit, right?
I think.
I mean, she better be a fucking 15 if she's got 2 kids.
I think that when you get, when there's kids involved, it just complicates the relationship because you can't, if you're moving fast, if you're still in that courting phase, you're trying to figure out. I've tons of friends, they'll date like single parents, both genders. Um, they typically don't want the kids exposed to that as much. So a good friend, I'm friends with the woman and the man, and she didn't ever wanted. I don't think they ever did. They dated for guy dated the girl forever, and she would never let him meet her kid because they didn't. They eventually stopped dating, but she just didn't want to expose him to a temporary fixture.
Of course, but that's the thing too. It's like men are men. It's like, you could fucking like this woman that you're going out with. You find out she's got 2 kids. You guys get into a relationship. You guys have sex. Well, maybe he's just having sex with her, but he's not planning on staying with her, right? So those are the kind of truths that women don't want to hear. It's like you get 10 women, right? You get 10 women. You ask them, rate yourself from 1 to 10. They're all fucking 10s. But that's a lie. That's what the world is telling them. It's like, you go, girl, right?
Right.
But that's not reality, Kevin.
I think, I don't know. There's another thing that I learned. I always talk about, when I got in the nightclub business like years ago, I used to work at a club where I was security at a club, but you had to work access to this VIP lounge. So the rules were, you're gonna jump all over this. That any men that you let in, they had members, and the members had this medallion to show that they were a member. And any man that came through had to show a medallion. Any woman comes in, no matter what, fat, ugly, whatever.
Yeah.
But what they said, which I learned, was a thing. And this is another thing that, it kind of fascinates me. Are men more comfortable with what they like? Because some dudes like fat, chubby chasers, like a fat girl. Some dudes like a girl with wooden legs. Some dudes like
I think
person.
I think guys just want to get it in at the end of the day. Like we were
higher
made,
drive. Definitely.
We were made to propagate the whatever.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Higher drive.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, I don't know. Some, you live long enough, you learn more, whatever. I think my opinion is I'm a lot more open-minded today than I was, back then. But I think now, and maybe I've gotten older, the women that I know are older, they're, I think, a little more comfortable with what they like, but, not every dude looks like Jason Momoa.
No, that's right. But that's what I'm saying. But so my point is because this is a podcast for men. It's like, if you're not over 6 foot tall, then you better fucking work out. You better have a good job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I said, ask most women, they'll tell you he's got to be over 6 foot tall. He's got to make 6 figures. He's got to have green eyes. He's got to have this and this. And like for us, it's like, just be hot. That's it. It's like, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if you fucking work at fucking McDonald's. Just fucking look good. So why is that? We want women to look good because subconsciously that potentially may be the mother to our children, and we want a woman that's beautiful because we want those genes to be passed on into our children, basically, to our offspring.
Yeah.
So that comes from what? Evolutionary psychology. I mean, I'm the same way too. I'm 48 years old. It's like, I know that I built myself to the man that I am today. I have a certain status as a man, right? But it's like, all I want to know is why? Why am I trying to do this? Just like every other man. It's like, why does a guy drive a fucking Lambo? Because he knows that most men can't drive a Lambo, right? Because it's all based on status. I mean, you're around that shit all the time. You're in the fucking nightclub industry, right? Or fucking bars. I mean, you see beautiful women all the time.
Right.
Right?
I think so. Again, like a nerve. So I started working in that industry when I was 19 years old. Like I've more or less been exposed to it all my life, and you see people at their worst. People.
He's good.
God.
He's got the leash.
When they drink, it makes an asshole a super asshole. Sometimes it makes a nice person a super nice person. But you would see a lot of that shallow, cheap nature in people.
Of course.
That was about all those. You'd see it from both genders, but what you were seeing was, or what you're talking about, is more what can people get hammered? They're dating fast, they're living fast, they're doing everything fast. It's more about what can you do for me? They're fucking the person that gives them concert tickets, or the rich dude, the dude with the Ferrari or whatever. It's just you see so much of that in the bar business, but that's not reality. There, I've got a sister as a teacher. You talk to the teachers, that's foreign. They don't. You talk to normal people. I mean, the nightclub industry is not even at 1% of the world's profession. It's that shallow thing. Well, I'm buried in it for 30 years, so you tend to get this false version of reality. And, Marie would tell you, I have this like allergy to it. I cannot stand that. You've known me a long time. I drive typically a very humble pickup truck. I don't like flash. It's a general rule. I mean, but I'm old and old fashioned. I don't. I just don't. It's not my flavor. I can't. A lot of times I'll go out and you go to a bar or something. I'm just not a good peacocker.
Yeah. I got you.
But I'd say most of my friends are. There's nothing wrong with it. I guess I certainly have motorcycles or whatnot. I get it. I can relate to it. There is definitely a need and a reason to do it. But I think I've always wanted to meet somebody and have like this paranoia that they like me for me. I don't know. I guess there was definitely a time in my youth where I was definitely more into that, but I don't know.
But it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, though, listen, okay, that's fine. You don't like, you're very humble when it comes to what you drive, but still, at the end of the day, if you're with a woman, if you meet a woman, you're gonna pay for everything, right?
Yeah, and yes, and I would typically, I don't know, it's just it's like what we're exposed to. I like that. I romanticize about that, loyal to one another, man taking care of woman, but not in a barroom brawl kind of way, not a Jerry Springer type scenario, like I mean, don't get me wrong, if there are limits, and I know you very well, to you too. If I'm on a date with a woman and somebody comes up and assaults her, grabs her or something, I'm not going to let it slide.
Of course not.
Don't think that somebody groping a woman you're on a date with is a reason to pull out a gun and shoot them down.
Of course not.
I think that the best weapon anybody has, male or female, is their head.
Yeah.
I think I definitely think, I guess to get back to that, I think that, I don't know, I romanticize about taking care of a woman, and you really, I don't know, that old 50s greatest generation vision of it is what I envision. You're really taking care of each other, and that gets back to what you're talking about, gender roles. Back then it was the dude was a breadwinner, that woman might cook for the dude or whatever. I don't care about that stuff.
But do you want a traditional woman or no?
I do. Again, it goes back to me being in the nightclub business since I'm 19. It's all I've ever known is the other. You always want what the grass is always greener. I don't. Yeah, I've seen so much in my time in that industry. So much. Nothing is ever without drama. I don't even know if the real world is like that. You see people, oh, so, Dick and Jane are getting married. They're going to be done in 9 months. There's going to be drama. Dick's going to be screwing the babysitter. Jane's going to be screwing the gardener. And it's like that 10 out of 10 times. I had a friend that she used to manage a strip club. It's like tenfold. She was, just god awful stuff that you'd see from a movie. People that would have STDs and hide it, and they're just giving it to giving whatever they had to the sexual part or their sexual partners. Their people, getting pregnant and no earthly clue who the dad was.
But you've seen the ugly side of that industry. You've seen the ins and outs of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All I've seen. They're I love my job. That's another thing I love about my job. It's not really nightclub now. It's a little more whole. It's certainly more wholesome than that nightclub industry. They were the right thing at the right time. I was definitely, when I started working with the company that I'm at now, a different clientele, they hired a different person, stricter drug policies, and it's strict drug policies.
Really?
Yeah, they're from the get. They had no tolerance. You get in the nightclub industry, it's you see a lot of people with coke and whatnot in the bathrooms. It's just one of these annoying, something you got to deal with constantly. Police your bathrooms. They're coyote, they're nothing, virtually non-existent.
Yeah, it's pretty foreign to me, man. I'm just not but I'm kind of like the same way too, man. Same as you, I'm pretty kind of like a traditional. Coke or anything like that. I've never even thought about that stuff, man. It's just never even like. I just have no interest in that stuff, man. But
you see it kind of eat people alive too. I've seen a lot of people I've known a long time, and then they don't age well in that. I see people develop chemical dependencies and whatnot. But I don't know. Yeah, I think me being exposed to all that ugly parts, again, people getting shot over nothing, or you do see. I would be dishonest if I said that women make more in the nightclub industry, but they're also subjected to things that we're not, or we don't care about. You'll definitely see like it's very common, like a cocktail waitress. This is gonna, open up a can of worms, but they're just constantly dudes grabbing their, hands between their cheeks. Like, really, you see, and I've known people, because you and I are gentlemen, I've known people or worked with people, or you'll be exposed to people that there's no self-preservation. They're just, they fish with dynamite. They'll try things like that. If they, if they grab 10 cocktail waitresses' butts, and they get laid once, they think that's a success.
But do these guys are they successful? Do they have money or what?
I don't know. I guess that's kind of relative. Well, this is the other thing. So when you go to the nightclubs, there's everybody appears that way, so you never really know, and that was always the thing. So I worked at this one nightclub. They would always say, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And then, of course, when you first start working there, I'm like, oh my god, I just carded Mick Jagger, and then they're like, no, that's Dave. He's the busboy, or whatever. Dave. Everybody loves to say that, but I don't know.
Okay, interesting, man. But I'm not part of your industry, man. I'm just like a regular fucking guy. Like I said, I've just been divorced. I'm in the dating market now, and I mean, like I see it all the fucking time. It's like I go to a place, I expect to be treated a certain way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's taken me years to be the man that I am today, and I mean, you see it. I mean, you see it now. You see how people fucking behave. I mean, and, you know, like I said, I'm I don't know, man. I just find it really interesting to see, you know, the differences between men and women, and I think people think that it's equal, and I don't think it's equal at all, Kevin. Not at
No,
all,
it's
man.
and there's just no way around that.
Yeah,
I mean, you could say certainly there are subjects where you could say it's most likely equal.
Mhm.
There are some that it's just not. I mean, it's not when you get in again to bone density, muscle mass, and pay scale for manual labor. Like if our job is to just move piles of rocks, you're going to pay by the pound, and some people are going to be able to move more rocks than others. That being said, I think it was Jordan Peterson saying there are more women enrolled in university
it's like
today.
70%.
Yeah. So I get it, whatever. If they're making whatever they're making, doctors, there's that's going to affect the labor market, the pay scale.
Yeah, but don't you listen? But don't you think that it's college has become an institution made for women because lots of like guys are like, okay, I want to be a fucking engineer. They go to 4 years, whatever, do what they got to do to become engineers. Women, I don't know. I'll become a teacher. Never mind. Let me be an artist.
Career student.
Yeah. So it's like it's almost like the colleges are designed for women.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know. You're seeing another thing. You're seeing a big movement right now is push for the trades.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're saying like 5-10 years ago they were saying that a lot of degrees, a lot of fields, the cost for certain degrees, a lot of them was so inflated, didn't necessarily make sense to pursue it unless you just had a passion for whatever. Advertising or
hold on, I gotta go piss. I gotta edit this anyway, so it don't matter. Just fucking chill out, man. Okay. Because if not, like I want to listen to what you have to say, but if I have piss, I'm not really like I gotta piss.
No worries.
You know what I'm saying?
I was a little, I guess he's good. A little concerned about the blue treating the blue water. I'm like, fuck, I guess I'll know if he fucking.
Nah, bro. Like, yeah, dude, he had a couple of licks.
Right.
I
think it's after that day, that woman, fuck, man, just laying the dog down. Like, what the fuck happened? She was walking it.
It's not like he was. It's not like he was fucking going at it for a while. Like, I think
Right.
he probably took 2 licks.
Yeah.
These fucking dogs, man. They're fucking pretty resilient, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, all right. So, I'm gonna edit this, like I said, after
Okay.
we're
back.
like I said, man, I just want to know your take on that because, like I said, listen, I mean, I was married for 28 years. I've been single for about, I guess, 2 years. Like I said, I just noticed. Ollie, no, you're good. I noticed these differences, and there's actually there's a podcast, man. It's called Fresh and Fit, and they talk about the differences between women. How women always like to say, "Well, I feel."
Yeah.
I feel it's like, like we're pragmatic. We like to go by facts, like what is,
Right.
not how I feel, right? So, listen, man. Like I said, I go out all the time. I know women that are beautiful. You see women that are bartenders.
Yeah.
They're usually, if you go to any club here in Atlanta, usually it's women that are bartenders, and usually they're beautiful women, right? So it's like, as I've said before, I think that, and I'm not the only one that says it, is women have a certain shell life. Like if you ask a man between 9 to 70 years old, they're going to be like, how old do you want your woman to be? Most men say between 18 and 24, right? So is it that younger women are seen as more valuable than older women? And statistically speaking, they say that women that are over 40 are some of the most unhappiest women right now. Come here, give me that damn thing. Ollie!
Oliver. Dude, you're going to be like editing the crap out.
It's okay.
Oliver.
Behave, you fat bastard.
Come on, Ollie.
He just wants to fucking destroy shit.
I know. He's like,
what are you doing?
attention.
Relax, bro.
Sorry, man.
No, you're good.
I think, I definitely, I think it's different for men. It's just different for men and women. I don't know about chicken or the egg.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about it is they like makeup. There's no men's makeup line, or I'm sure there is.
That's right.
They're show much more of themselves, or and you got to be objective about it. If you had a daughter, or you do have a daughter,
yeah.
But if you have a young woman that's coming in like, okay, I'm here to play the game. What's the rules?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so what? I got to do what? Why didn't he have to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that different. Again, it goes back to you have a son and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You have a son and a daughter. They're just going to walk a very different path.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be subjected to different standards. They're going to have to navigate through different waters. It's just a different set of rules. And it goes back, for me, it just goes back to don't be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there needs to be specific rules about, we're getting into some, you and I, touched on some really, controversial, topics about, race, gender, sexual orientation,
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. I feel like there are a lot of things in this world that are necessary. I mean, they're certainly not that any of those people, haven't had a tough time and been, disproportionately disadvantaged at some point. But you get to a point where you can go overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Unions, I always talk about unions.
Yeah.
I mean, like a construction union. At one point, the United Auto Workers Union. One point, that was a great thing because people were getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And then it got too went overboard.
I know, it's ridiculous. It's like the employees are telling the employer what he has to do.
Right. So it gets to the point to where you almost, I joke with the joke, it's coming around. It's like, how about just don't be a dick? With you get like some, I think what you're talking about, like a really shallow woman, it's like, I get it. The rules are different for her, but still be moral about what you're doing. Don't.
Yeah, have a moral compass.
Right. I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing is some of those subjects, I'm kind of like, I'm very, I'm wondering about. I think people love to generalize, love to see uh, something terrible happen. I'm trying to think. George Floyd, God, I couldn't watch it. It was just awful.
Yeah.
But then say that that's every police interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. There's no way. I want to know that first off, and I think I want to have more faith in humanity than that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think. I don't know what I think.
Listen, we're older men, so like I said, the whole theme of the podcast is to try to make men better, right?
Yeah.
It's like how do men become better? It's like, people ask me all the time, it's like, well, how did you get to where you are today? And listen, I have my own struggles too, I have my own problems just like anybody else, but I mean, I tell anybody that wants to listen to me, it's like, I own a couple of businesses, but man, I work all the time. It's like it's not like this magic thing, like I think that even today in society, Kevin, I think most people, because of social media, they think that everybody's successful.
Right.
And everybody's posting pictures of wherever. I'm in Dubai, I'm doing it big, wherever I'm in a private
like,
jet.
Oh, Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they think that everybody's lives are like that. It's like, I have a pretty good life, man, but fuck, I work all the time. I know you fucking work all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think it's a lot of that shit. It's like, really, social media is just like, it's just a bunch of snippets of the lives that people think are living. But come on, man, it's like, unless you're like, LeBron James or somebody famous, that's the problem. It's like people want to measure up to what LeBron James is doing, or fucking Cardi B, and she's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Legit. I think it's the grass is always greener scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's people that I love that fall victim to that. And I hate it. It's the Instagram thing that they had some influencer, like it's during COVID, it was brilliant. But she went and built this, this series of pictures that told a story on her Instagram page as a message to kids not to buy everything you see, because it looked like she was, on some lavish vacation in Bora Bora, and they shot every picture in an IKEA.
Really?
Yeah. She's basically just saying that it's just like creative photography.
Uh-huh.
And that's all it is like you said earlier, perception is reality. People utilize that small little thumbnail to present the best side of themselves. I don't do it. I shouldn't say that. I don't. Some part of me, if I go scuba diving somewhere and you see something beautiful.
No, but that's cool. But that's cool, man.
My feeling on that is, if you see something beautiful, or even if you just took a beautiful picture of it, sometimes I'll share it.
Of course.
If it's sentimental, Maria and I took that RV trip. I think I posted the photo.
Oh, you had beautiful pictures, man. I remember that.
Loved it. I was proud of the pictures.
Oh, they were beautiful, man.
But you go scuba diving, and there was a great trip. We went scuba diving, and they had somebody hired a professional photographer, and they were just beautiful pictures. My feeling is, if you're going to put those on Instagram, what's your motive? If it's for envy, because part of envy is boosting yourself up. It's also making someone else not feel like their weekend wasn't as fruitful.
Yeah.
Or they didn't, I know, again, it goes back to, I know people that I love, people I'm related to, that they feel less than, they feel like they're not, their life's not on the right track because everybody else, the Instagram's their compass. Everybody else is going to Bali on every Wednesday.
I use
No,
that.
they're not.
Listen, I use my social media for my businesses, but I mean, I know there's plenty of people that, dude, they're posting like once or twice, 2, 3 times a day. It's like what they're fucking doing. It's like,
Right.
dude, nobody gives a fuck.
Right. And then, yeah, just too much. You know, they'll take pictures of their food. I think, you know, the grass is always greener. I think it's so important to make the most. Life's short,
Mm,
you know, and make the most of what you got.
mm.
It's probably going to be imperfect because it is for everybody. Look at Chris Cornell. Guy fucking shot himself. Guy looks like that.
I
As
thought
a
he hung
voice like
himself.
that.
Did he hang himself or shot himself?
Maybe he might have hung himself. He killed
Yeah.
himself.
What
guy.
the fuck ever happened? He just had issues, right?
Yeah, it's like that's another thing. It's like perception. They talk about I think it goes back to like PTSD. You'll see some soldiers go through some horrific, you know, ordeal, and they're affected by it, but they'll survive. They're framed. They were prepared for it. Then you'll see somebody, some high school kid that hydroplanes their car and then recovers and they off themselves because of their, you know, they were so affected by that. Has to do, I think they say it has to do less with the experience and more with the individual too. Obviously, there are gonna be things that are traumatic and they're naturally gonna affect somebody, but there. I guess my point being, there are some folks that are just not built to deal with.
Well, listen, man, I can only tell you from experience, and I think it probably was about 2, 3 weeks ago. I had an issue. I think it was called. I think this is what it was, man. Hypoglycemia.
Yeah.
Basically, I had too much sugar in my system.
Yeah.
You know, I'd been fucking. You know, I opened up a new business, and I was just fucking, dude. I was just fucking. You know how we are as men. We're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Coffee, fucking donuts, and bro, like, dude, I thought I was fucking losing my mind, man. I was actually with my girlfriend. She took me to the VA because I was like, I don't feel right. Like there's something wrong with me. You know, I felt like suicidal, really. And
it
will fuck you up, man. It will fuck you up. I thought my heart was gonna come out of my fucking chest, man.
So that's a drop in your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Hypoglycemia is reduction, and it's legit. Like you get people that call it sugar. You know, they joke around. They call it the sugars. I don't know the exact correlation to diabetes. Same family, but there are people. I think diabetes is probably the more extreme version of the same thing. They get like out of their mind.
Yeah.
Like somebody can be having a diabetic event. I did this a little med class. They would say, look for signs and symptoms. So they would run scenarios, and if the actor, you go up and you ask them what's wrong, the actor just immediately starts, you know, going nuts, swinging at you. The assumption, the diagnosis is.
Well, you say a lot of like inappropriate shit. Like you become very aggressive. You become very impatient. You start to you fumble over things. Man, I'm telling you, man, I really, really thought I was losing my mind, and now I'm watching my diet, man. I even bought one of those blood things so I can measure my blood, man. But dude, I would never thought, like, listen, you're never really honest about yourself till you run into things like that. You're like, man, that shit could have happened to me. You know, like I could have just been a statistic. And thankfully, I was with my girlfriend because, like I said, I went to the VA twice, and I left the VA. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not dealing with this stuff. I got up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and I was like, I have to go to the doctor. Like, there's something wrong with me. I felt something. I felt suicidal, man. I really did.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was really bad. I went to the hospital, and they fucking took some blood samples, and man, my heart was just fucking beating like super, super fast. I didn't know what the fuck was wrong with me, man.
Say blood sugar stuff.
They didn't even say shit. They basically typical fucking bullshit. They're like, no, we're just gonna fucking refer you because they're like, do you have like PTSD? I'm like, well, I'm whatever, 70% according to the VA. I have like, yeah, I do have PTSD.
Yeah.
But no, man, it was my fucking diet. I basically just ran myself to the ground. I was just fucking eating the wrong foods, and it started to affect my mental health,
Yeah.
man.
You can edit all this out,
No, dude, this is fine.
Oh,
This is
okay.
stuff, like I said, I want people to be aware of this stuff because I was like, what the fuck is happening to me, you know? And I was like, I did not know because my son had been telling me this for years. Like, dude, you need to watch your diet. But like I said, as men, we just fucking just keep getting after it. And we don't really think about that shit, you know?
There are things definitely like blood sugar. Well, the other thing is we're so much more resilient when we're young.
Mhm.
You know, I'll find things are an issue now that they weren't when I was younger. You know, so blood sugar, the liver enzymes, the cholesterol, blood pressure. You know, this past year has been rough, and my blood pressure's been all over the place, and you know it. You'll feel, you know, lightheaded or something. You're like, what's going on? You don't, you know, it could be a temporary symptom of something. It could be you just over hyping, you know, some scenario. Could be, you know, too much salt in my diet. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're more reactive to it. Our bodies are more reactive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer. I went through this over the past year. You and I have talked about it a great deal. You know, there was a point again went through the whatever that was reaction to the vaccine, maybe the joint stiffness, and again, I was really active person. There are so many things in my life that I can fix with a 3-mile run. To not be able to do that terrifies me. So I get back to those things, taking care of myself, making sure my diet's good. You know, I'm not gonna be able to run if I'm 300 pounds. Ice in your joint, your knees. Think about, you know, take turmeric. You know, put anti-inflammatory things in your diet. I take multivitamins. You know, whatever.
Yeah, so
hydrate. You know,
listen, but these are the things, Kevin, too, that like young men need to hear about. It's like if you want to, you know, if you want to be a man, you know, because I think that being a man is constantly about evolving and trying to make yourself better. Whether you want to be with women or not, it's about bettering yourself. So, you know, how do you better yourself? You know, you work out, you know, you try to accomplish goals, you know, you're a good person, you know, I mean, if you believe in God, you try to live by the good book. You try. I mean, that's you know,
and that's about the pursuit. You know, that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, certainly faith, you know, whatever it is about trying to be better and the understanding that you'll fail.
Yeah.
You know, it was when you were talking about, you know, the pillars of life. Is it self, things you need to focus on? That's just like self, family, and your career, first job, whatever. Pretty sure I had a conversation about that the other night. I'm pretty sure I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Certainly the most important things. I think you know, personal health is can't be overemphasized. That's the other things. You know, diet.
Yeah, but listen. But if you had to give advice to a young man, what do you think if a young man wants to better himself, right? What do you think you should do to become a better man? What do you think? What would you do?
I mean,
from the get.
If I had to, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got all kinds of things that I say. I think that I don't know, dude. I think about you a lot.
I mean, are you content with the man that you are today?
I would have definitely changed, you know, things. I wouldn't have. Again, I spent a huge chunk of my life in a very shallow industry, you know, surrounded by shallow people, and I had a good compass. I had a very different upbringing than that industry, so that's created
conflict,
weird conflict. Yeah. It it worked, but it's almost like you're just a product of two extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I would have probably not spent as much time in the industry I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
or gotten to what I do now faster. Um, I've always tell people, for young folks, and you may not, you may not be the advice for your audience, but I grew up in a generation where people would say, you're not getting married until you're 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people spend too much time apart,
Mm-hmm.
and they learn what they like.
Mm-hmm.
They get very focused on them, and I don't know. I always joke. I very playfully tell people I new thing. If I had kids today, I'd tell them to get married at 15.
Mm.
I think that
Yeah, but do you still want to get married or what?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the right woman. But I think I don't know. I've just got a very uh, I guess old fashioned view of the whole.
But you're saying you're saying things that I'm like, dude, you're right on point. It's like, listen, you're 45 years old. You built to be the man that you are today.
Yeah.
You're a man of high value. You have a career. You know what I'm saying? You're not a fucking bum.
Yeah.
Like you've done something in your life, right? If you were to find a woman, let's say a younger woman, because this is my contention with this whole thing with age. It's like I have found out through being divorced that I prefer a younger woman because I definitely want to be the leader in the relationship. And I want a woman, and like, I say submissive. Do I want her like in a cage or something? Of course not.
Right.
A woman has her own opinion.
I know what.
I
know you.
But
well.
like I said, but people will take it the wrong way
Right.
when you say submission.
Right.
They. It's like, do I want her to wear a fucking burqa? No, of course not. I want her to be her own person.
Yeah.
But I know what I bring to the table. It's like, okay, I have my status. I have, I'm the same as you. It's like, I'm a man. I'm going to fucking pay for everything.
Right.
Like, I'm not taking resources from a woman. She's going to be taking resources from me.
Right. Well, it's also different because you're driving over a snowy pass, car breaks down, and you guys get snowed in. You're looked at as to how is Frank going to get you guys out of this. It's the expectation, the social expectation of if things go awry, it's going to be like, how did Frank fail? I get it. The pressure is different, and it's not like that for everybody. Some people just have a different relation. Not for me. I don't. Again, I want a woman that I can take care of.
Well, I just wonder. I want you to look at yourself in a way, I guess, differently, Kevin, and be like, like we often look at like, like of course we're the pursuers.
Right.
We're looking after. We're looking for that particular woman. I'm just trying to maybe get you to see that you're the prize. Like you are built to be the man that you are today, and there are many, many women that would love to be with a man like you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, I see it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, trust me. I think I definitely see the value in the person that I am. I just am not willing to compromise it.
Of course.
And honestly, I look at things through a different lens too. Of the big part of my life is someday we're all going to take our last breath.
Yes.
And most likely we're not, when we do that, we're not going to be happy with every choice that we made. But I want to try and manage those, with the big things and, not feel like a sleazeball, at the end of it. I don't know. I've got a real romanticist feel about that. I want to feel like the one for me is always the one for me.
Yeah.
no matter what.
Oh, listen,
And some part of that's about me in the way,
yeah, but
Yeah.
would you want to be a woman? Would you want to be with a woman that's your age, or would you want to be with a woman that's younger than you? Like, if you had a choice.
I can't. So I've gone on dates with women much younger than me, and there's a disconnect there.
Complete
Yeah.
disconnect.
There, in my experience,
Yeah.
there can be.
So the level you weren't basically you didn't overlook their maybe immaturity to the level of hotness, or no? Like, she's so fucking hot. I'm like, whatever. She's listen, but listen to me. But we're speaking as men, Kevin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, Jesus, she's so hot, but okay, she's kind of dumb, but it's okay.
I
No?
also think, and I'm being genuine, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I also think that, and again, you go back to our industry and exposure to people like that. And yes, you'll go through a phase where you have fun with women like that.
Yeah.
And, you then realize that there are prices to pay for that, and I'm allergic to that personality of someone who's never heard the word no. I don't.
No, but listen, but that's a different kind of a woman,
Right.
because like, if you're, you date a woman that's like whatever, drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's gonna be issues.
Yeah.
Because that I mean, and you know it better than I do. Nobody's ever said no to her.
Right.
And she's got options. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, but my point is, you're looking at your life now and you're saying, well, I'm sure you would want to have kids, right? So would she? I mean, listen, she would have to be at a certain range. Would she have to be like 30 or 32 and over, or what? Are you looking for a particular number, or no?
I don't know. I mean, no. I think I don't know. I think yeah.
Listen, I'll fucking. Because listen, Kevin is such a fucking nice guy. It's like, I mean, compared to me, I'm a fucking deviant. But no, listen. So I can only tell you from my experiences. Like, being in the market now as a 48-year-old man, it's like I've dated women that are my age, and this is my experience. They're a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
To where we could have conversations about a lot of things, but they have their own issues.
Yeah.
To where younger women, they're certainly immature, but they're immature. Let's just say they're immature, but as far as the issues, I mean, it's vastly different, man. You know what I'm saying? There, you're dealing with immaturity because they haven't lived as long as you have.
Yeah.
But as far as like I said, I mean, I've been with women that were my age, that they were completely normal. Like, once you get to know them. But then you start dating them, and they're all about fucking drinking. They're just fucking alcoholics. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to know them.
Yeah.
But once you really, really get to know them, that's when they're like, yeah, I think she's probably got a fucking drinking problem, or issues with prior relationships. You know?
Yeah.
So in the red pill or the manosphere, they call it, women are riding basically the cock carousel, and now with social media. I mean, with social media, it doesn't exist. The fucking chick that's the hot chick that lives in a small town. She doesn't exist anymore, because if she has an Instagram,
right,
dude, if she's hot,
connected.
Yeah, dude's gonna be like, hey, darling, I'll fly you to fucking Dubai tonight.
They said a cock carousel.
That's what they call it, man. Right?
Yeah.
That's why they say that women that over a certain age are unhappy. Let's say women over 40, they are at the unhappiest.
Yeah.
Right? Because those women can't compete with a 25-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And that's why all these women, they're doing the Botox, the fillers, right?
It is. I mean, that's just a symptom of a really scary world when you think about it. And I get it. We don't.
But we value youth, Kevin. That's what men value youth, right?
I know. I mean, I know. I get what you're saying, and I'm probably as guilty of it as anybody. But
I know I'm guilty of it.
Why do I don't know. It's like you just the whole Botox thing kills me. And I know, I've seen people that I work with, women in their 20s getting Botox.
Yeah, but that's
Wrong?
fucking ridiculous, man.
Amen.
But you saw that fucking woman Paulina, that fucking model. Paulina used to be a famous model. She used to be married to Rick Ocasek from the Cars in the 80s.
Yeah.
The hottest model. Beautiful, right? Well, now she's complaining that now that she's 50 years old, she's not getting the type of men that she used to. Why? Because she's fucking 50 years old, right? But these are the things that we don't want to talk about. Why was fucking Pamela Anderson, during her heyday, she was like one of the most beautiful women in the world. Well, Pamela Anderson ain't fucking 20 years old anymore. She's fucking 50-something years old. So she doesn't fucking look the same, right? Why is it that they say that women age like milk and men age like fine wine? Because the older we get, the better we get.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because we are building, we have more status. Right? It's like you look at a fucking ugly guy with a beautiful woman. The first thing you say is that dude's got money. Why do we say that? Because it's true, Kevin.
Yeah, women like money, I guess. Excuse me.
And is it wrong? Is it wrong because women want to be taken care of?
Yeah, I've definitely, you've heard the theory, or they'll like a buff dude, because either way, one of them's a protector, provider, kind of.
But he's got good genes too.
Yeah.
Right? So she'll have fucking sex with the hot guy at the phone party, but then marry the Mr. Nice guy with a good career, right?
Right.
Because one of them provides good genes and the other one provides security.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I'm fascinated that, Maria talks about the flip side of that. Why are we attracted to certain things? They surely say women with wide hips or like the big butt thing. It's like men select that as child bearers. You know? I don't know. I think.
But listen, but it's unfair. We're talking about Maria. Like, I think Maria just turned fucking 39?
Yeah.
She doesn't look 39.
No.
Right? So she's fucking one of these women that are fucking blessed.
Yeah.
Because most 39-year-olds don't look like Maria.
Right.
And I don't think that she I mean, I see her. She's my sister.
Right.
I'm like,
yeah.
I see the differences,
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I think a lot of that too is, I don't know. I'm getting into, I don't know. I think that we have certain things. I believe that nature has certain things for a reason. I've always wondered, we get into like, why is the attraction, a certain way, or strong at certain fertile ages or whatever. I always wonder, it's like, puppies are fucking cute, right? Are they that way so we don't kill them? Is that a survival technique? I mean, they're literally
adorable.
I mean, so, like beyond
cute
logic.
Yeah.
It's like, are there nature's a smart, powerful thing? I don't know. Part of me wonders, we're as mammals, we gift of deductive reasoning. We tend to find a mate and we make a family, nest, and typically, stay together for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, but why in the animal kingdom is it that the male is usually the more that the one that stands out, to where in the humans, it's the women. They're the ones that peacock. They're the ones that wear the makeup. They're the ones that wear the high heels, right?
Yeah.
So we could say that about society today. It's like women don't want to be sexually harassed, and well, why the fuck are you wearing high heels, tight dress, Botox the fuck out, fake titties? Like, we're visual. Men are visual.
I think that's the hunters and hunted. It's the pursuers and pursuees. You get to a point where you have this, pool of testosterone, these dudes like hitting on, women, and, some woman's average, she wants to, I get a boob job and I'm going to stick out and get all the attention. I think we don't. I don't know. I don't know why there's not much industry for men.
Hmm.
They, I mean, there is. It's like dick pills. You know, like guys get it. This is a whole other conversation.
Mm.
Somebody was saying that it's like fucking like gas station dick pills. He was like Joe Rogan or something. $1 billion industry.
Mm.
Nothing, no medical science behind that, whatsoever. But it's like if that's the extent of, I guess, I don't know. Like dudes typically work out. They can get those muscle implants, but most of them just do it at the gym.
Yeah, they look like shit though.
Yeah.
Man.
There's you see what I'm saying? There's no boob job for men.
I mean, they have peg implants, but I mean, like I said, it just doesn't look real. It doesn't look like you went to the gym. It looks
it looks off.
It looks fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's we look at these differences, and it's like we're so fucking different from fucking women, man. We really are. So like even now at my age, I mean, like I said, I see it all the time. Why? Because I'm not fucking 28 anymore. I'm 48. I've built myself to be the man that I am. It's like, why do I feel like I'm more confident? Because I've built myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fucking good looking. I'm not tall. I'm just like, there's just certain things that make me the man that I am today. Just like, I'm sure you don't look at yourself like you're like the most handsome man in the world, but you look at yourself and I'm like, well, fuck, I've done something in my life. I've built myself to be the man that I am today. Nobody helped me out. It's like at the end of the day, it's like we're expandable. We always have been, right? If there's a sinking ship, who gets on the fucking boat? The women, the old people, and the children. Right. We're expandable. We always have been expandable.
Right.
Right? So, like I said, I like to think I look at the world for what it is, not for what I want it to be.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I looking for status as a man? Because I'm trying to build a legacy for myself.
Yeah.
I want to know that when I'm gone, people are going to remember me. I'm sure you feel the same way too. You want to leave something behind.
Absolutely.
Life is not long. It's quick.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So does it mean offspring, or does it mean your career, or does it just mean the kind of man that you were to the world?
I don't know. Your ride's not over yet, but it could be offspring, could be. I hope it's not career. I mean, I want to think. I mean, I've done some cool things, in my career, but it's one pillar of life, and it's non-essential. I didn't cure any cancer. I didn't build any bridges. I'd love if it wasn't. I've got my plan for, kids, and if that doesn't work out, then maybe a charity. Who knows? You could do whatever. There's a lot of ways to live a meaningful life.
As my friend, man, I would love for you, Kevin, to eventually have children. I think that would definitely. I think that's probably something that would make you. I don't know if it would make you whole, but I think it's something kind of like checking the box. Like checking the box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I look at my life now, and I'm like, okay, I've done the children. I've done the marriage thing.
Yeah.
What else do I need to do? It's like I want to build a legacy for myself.
Yeah.
For my grandkids.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think that having the children is the coolest thing.
And you're 45.
Yeah. Yeah.
So God willing, you can have kids till you're fucking 80 years old.
Yeah, probably. Is that a blessing or a curse? Let me use the restroom.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. So yeah, guys. So, like I said, I mean, I could talk to Kevin for hours. I mean, it's just like we can get into like different topics, but for the younger guys out there, the guys that are trying to, let's say, find a woman, right? I think what they always say is go and look at becoming a man of value by working hard, creating a business or creating a career, and then instead of you following the women will come to you, right? If that's what you want in life, right? Or test yourself, right? Do a martial arts, do kickboxing, do jujitsu, do something hard, lift weights, right? Lift heavy objects, be in shape, right? Don't follow women, follow excellence. If you follow excellence, then the women will come to you.
That's a good message.
Right?
Yeah, I like that.
Because I think, especially young men, listen, I was a young man too. The thing is, when I was in my 20s, I was already married. I had fucking 2 kids. But like I said, now I'm in a different place in my life to where I'm like, I'm with one woman right now, in a serious relationship. And listen, I think at the end of the day, Kevin, I think I mean, listen, there's guys that, they're fucking boning fucking chicks left and right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, are they satisfied? Are they happy? Some are, some aren't.
Yeah, well, you make a very valid point there.
Mm.
What's right for one person isn't necessarily happiness for somebody else, and there's so much that goes into that. It's like beginnings, personality, your body chemistry. There. Some people want, different things. Some people want consistency. Some people fear it. There's. Some people need, again, consistency. I was thinking about travel. Some people want to travel, some people don't. It's everybody's different. I like your message of, do something hard. Whether it's jiu-jitsu, fucking learn an instrument. If I had you asked me earlier if I had advice, if I could do it over, fucking learn another language, dude. I would have done that 10 out of 10 times.
But you still can, Kevin.
No, I will, and I'm a little bit. I work on it every now and then in the free time that I don't have. But like you said, jujitsu. Would you ever look at somebody like as good as Elijah is, in jujitsu, and he's kind of done it. Anything that somebody wants to do, say if I had stuck with that as a kid, Elijah, you guys got him in jiu-jitsu. He like all the moons aligned. He loved it. You guys loved it. He loved it, and you guys all stuck with it. It was like this concert of efforts that got him to where he is today. But that could apply to anything. A young man, if that's the audience, anything that they think they want to be. It really is good advice. You can do anything, if you put your mind to it. Well, it's an incredibly vague statement, but if there is some kid out there that wants to, whatever, be a world jiu-jitsu champion, go take lessons, do what you can, where you can, when you can. Don't get discouraged. You're going to hit adversity at some point. Somebody's going to tell you you're not built for this. I wanted to be a drummer at one point. Did super young. I was in middle school, and I did that little the band in middle school, and you had to do this little test to see if you'd be a drummer. And I'm like, nah, I couldn't keep up with the rhythm. And they said, nah, you're not going to be a drummer.
How many times has that happened in life when somebody said that you weren't going to amount to anything and they're like super ultra successful?
Right.
I mean, it happened to Jordan, right? I think he didn't make his. People have said this shit so many times. He didn't make his JV team in high school.
Yeah.
Right?
Tyson, you seen that video? Tyson, he was nervous before his first Olympic fight. He's bawling, crying. Never thought he'd ended up being a freaking killing machine.
Yeah, but look, in today's society where everything is just like this, right? Like, you hear about some young tech guy that's making $20 million a year. I think that most people think that everybody can do that. And it's like, I think for the most part, Kevin, everything takes a long time. It takes hard work and it takes dedication.
Yeah.
I've been, running my business for fucking 24 years, man, and I'm moderately successful.
Yeah.
I just started another business. The took me 6 months to get it open,
Yeah.
and it's listen. Now I have to compete.
Yeah.
Just because it took me this long to get it open, that means nothing.
Right.
Capitalism that gives two
Yeah.
fucks about me.
Yeah.
Now I have to compete in the private sector. Am I going to be able to compete? Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the unfortunate side of it. And it is. I'm at a stage of my life now where that I've got that pillar, or to my satisfaction, the work life. I want your pillar. I want the family. I want to focus on other things, because you need that that balance. But what you're talking about makes so much sense, because especially when you're growing a new business, if you're willing to work 23 hours a day, and your competition is willing to work 24, it's just you. Small business is the American dream, but it will take every drop.
Oh my God, man.
And it for a lot of people, I would say, I wouldn't even say for some people, for a lot of people, that's addictive. It's happiness, it's amazing. I know so many people that have their business that love it. And to some degree, I love my business. But it'll take every drop of you if you let it.
So there it is, guys. Look at that. This is just real advice from two old guys that have been fucking, around the block more than a few times. If anything, like, that's what I want, especially young men, to understand, that it's, man, get away from the social media stuff, man. If you're gonna do something, fucking do it, but it's not gonna happen overnight, man. I can fucking guarantee you that it's not. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's everything, man. Everything is a long fucking process,
right,
man.
It's a long road, and sticking with it, not just getting over it. There's gonna be speed bumps with everything. It's gonna be adversity, and just weather the adversity, and usually just golden. Certain exceptions, you're gonna get some people, they're whatever. But sometimes you even see like super short dudes that are NBA phenoms. There are some things that might even present limits, and you could, if you want to, you can work past those limits. I don't even.
Listen, I agree that it's the same guy for the Indian guy that fucking can't pick up any women who's whatever 5'5" and he's Indian. It's like, listen, it's all about frame control. If you believe that you can do it and you can get women, it's up to you, man. It's not up to them. If you think that you're too short to get women, it's not a woman's problem. That's your fucking problem. Like, we've all been dealt a different hand in life. And listen, you got to take what you have and fucking make the fucking best of it,
I think, and it goes back to grass is always greener. I always grew up the cool kid, in middle school again. It's this short dude that I knew, so I was always would hunch. I habitually hunch now because I did it so much when I was younger to make myself look shorter. There's it's just it's the grass is always greener,
Yeah.
If I don't even think there's any science to that. It really goes back to the core of what I was talking about with the working the VIP. It's like all dudes like all types of women. Women like all types of men too. I think we tend to to think that it's like women are only looking for a dude that looks like Jason Momoa.
I don't know, man. I think you could look like fucking ass, but if you got fucking money,
right.
I think you can fucking pretty much get any woman you want,
It helps. Money, or quote unquote, the metaphor is power,
And listen, then thankfully women, they tend to overlook that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're the ones that are more about, how a woman looks.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're a fucking piece of shit, you don't have a job, you live with your mother, you're not gonna fucking pick up any fucking women. I mean, that's just a fucking fact, like
Yeah.
you gotta fucking do work.
Right.
That's my fucking point, Kevin. It's like if you want a certain woman in your life, you have to have a certain status, man. I mean, that's just a fact. As men, like Jordan Peterson says, we're based on competence. Are you competent? And that's what a woman wants to know. Are you competent? Are you a leader of men? Are you a protector of loved ones? Right?
Yeah.
Not all men are created equally. Some guys are alpha, some guys not so much. So, what do you want to be in life? Right? Listen, my time in the army, man, I fucking was around, I talk to P about it all the time about leadership. It's like I saw some of the fucking greatest fucking leaders in the world. But I also saw some of the most incompetent fucking people that had power that were fucking buffoons.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to see what good leadership is. Good leadership is when people want to fucking follow you no matter what. That's when you know you're a fucking good leader. And if you're a man, that's fucking essential, man. You have to, they want to follow you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say it's important to be a good leader.
Mm-hmm. All right. So listen, we've gone, dude, it's bro, like 3 hours, man.
All right. Yeah.
Not including what we have on the phone. So, brother, do you have anything else you want to tell people about anything? Anything you want to say?
No, I would say just again, for the audiences, young men, stay focused on your goals and don't give up. If you have a vision to do something, or keep it in sight. Take a picture of it, stick it under your pillow, whatever.
Listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about. Like I said, I try to surround myself with men of high value, guys that have done something, because I get something from Kevin all the time, man. He's, like I said, he's super intelligent guy. He's fucking been around the world, fuck, we could go, I can go just about anywhere with you, man. You usually know somebody.
Yeah.
This guy's fucking connected, man. So listen to what this guy has to say. That's why I want to bring guys like this guy to show you, like, this is what it takes to be a man. This is what you got to do, man. You got to fucking work hard, lift fucking heavy objects, fucking be a leader, build yourself. That's it, guys. That's all I have. It's fucking been a long podcast, but dude, you're gonna have to fucking come back, man, because there's always
we'll do this again.
Yeah, you always got something.
Yeah.
Man. You always bring something that I'm like, God damn, I was so fucking smart, man. So, hey, man, thanks for coming out, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you having me.
For the old breed, we are out. All right, man. That's it, man.
That was a long one.
Holy fuck, that was it.
So, dude, that was a stream, but you said you edited out some of the.
I'm gonna edit it out. I'm gonna just